What a wild week it's been, but the country's most useless public holiday looms, not to mention our 30th anniversary as a democratic South Africa. This is the week that was. I'm Simon Brown. My co-host is Giulietta, Talevi, and joining us solo this week, Sasfin Securities' David Shapiro. Quick thing on the public holiday, vote for me. We would have had today off, we would have Monday off. What are we going to do on Wednesday? Feed the ducks, come on. David's not even aware it's a holiday.
Tomorrow's a holiday, 27th. I wondered when it was coming up. That's unfair.
It's so unfair.
It's so unfair.
And it's such an important day, after all.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a moment, and we're going to talk about the big deal of the week that shall not be named just yet.
Yes,
okay.
But the markets were all over the place this week.
And so they should be. I think the economic data coming out of the United States is so difficult to read. It's almost impossible to understand where the next move is. Inflation is, I don't think it's sticky, I think it's just stuck. Yeah, and that makes things very difficult. The results coming out are good. I think that's one thing that is underpinning the markets. But it's difficult. It's difficult to decide where to go. Does it need a further correction or not? And locally as well, we're all over the place. One day resources are up, the next day they're down. Yeah. Then they're up, then they're down. So we haven't gone anywhere. I think where we now, 4 months into the year, we're just kind of tracking sideways. We talk a lot, but we go nowhere.
Oh, we've got to do something. The US GDP data yesterday, I don't know. 1.6 for the world's biggest economy. It was light on what the market wanted. But
now we're hearing stagflation, because the PCE is projected to be 3.7 or whatever it was. Growth is low, high inflation, low growth, stagflation, not a soft landing, hard landing. Anyway.
Come on, how can this not be a soft landing? This is what everyone wanted, was slower economic growth out of the US.
Yeah.
And it's not a recession. I don't know what the market is happy with.
No, nothing. That's why I'm saying absolutely nothing. I looked at Meta's results, which were outstanding. If you looked at the pure numbers, yes, they say it's going to take time. We've got to position ourselves for AI. It's going to take time. Market don't like it. Knock them 10%. In the meantime, NVIDIA goes up. Why? Because they're going to spend so much on chips. NVIDIA says, okay, that's good for us. And NVIDIA goes up.
Well, NVIDIA's is everyone's, not R&D, everyone's CapEx, right? That 40 billion Meta's going to spend. NVIDIA's like, thank you very much for playing. We'll take that. I got to say, to your point, Giulietta, if ever I'm on a Boeing, I want Jerome Powell, man, because that can do soft landings. Right? Your Boeing's going to go pear-shaped and he will get you to ground, no worries.
Well, also making this week, the ANC loses the MK trademark court case and Thabo Mbeki is wheeled out to pacify the crowds. The SAR plays hardball with rates and Marcus Jooster's lover. Sasol's got more problems than you can shake a stick at, and thank goodness for Floyd Brink that the sheriff can't spell. Tesla's just a car company after all, and wine on your marathon run? Why not? But first, Anglo American as buyout target is an eloquent symbol of managerial missteps, the rise and fall of a family dynasty, and South Africa's status as global investment pariah. The company says no, but bar the shouting, is it all over? Is it?
Somewhere along the line, yes, because I don't think they can continue along the present path. You need money.
But what is wrong with the present path exactly?
You've got a Kumba which is under a lot of pressure. Look, people want growth. That's the point. They don't want a company to remain static. And the thing that worries me about Anglos with Kumba and with particularly the platinum side is that management attention goes away from where the growth assets should be, which obviously in this case is going to be copper and other assets outside of South Africa.
South America, it's copper and iron ore.
Yeah. And Simon, that's what Billiton's, the whole formation of South 32 was, hold on a sec, we want to focus on 4 core areas. We can't cover 10. So put 6 into another basket, which was called
I remember that Billiton strategy, which was about 2010. Firstly, there was nothing in South Africa. And secondly, it's hack and slash, let's get ourselves down. And most recently, of course, there was exiting energy.
Yes. Well, they still they're doing things all the time. But I'm saying, that's a problem when you have problems in South Africa, which you're going to have on the platinum mines as they come under pressure and you start to spend more attention on the local mines, then you want the growth assets, then it becomes a problem.
I suppose there's a couple of questions here. Is it necessarily such a bad thing that Anglo is that much smaller? Is small necessarily bad? Or is it just because of the fact that they'll BHP and Anglo were similarly sized, 20 years ago?
Hold on a sec.
Let's go
The history. Go back to the history.
Okay, but I know, excluding the fact that for practically a century, Anglo owned everything on the market, but it had to. It didn't. It had no. It couldn't grow outside of South Africa thanks to sanctions and apartheid.
But Glencore was Anglo, and Glencore.
You're talking General Mining.
Sorry, General Mining was Anglo, which I mean it
Gilbertson went from Gencore to start Billiton, which became BHP Billiton, which became BHP. But Gencore, General Mining, was created for the Afrikaans businessman by Anglos. They wanted to give the Afrikaans, Federale Mainbou, I can't remember, when I say I can't remember, it was the 40s or 50s or thereabouts that you had the formation. So what's happened is the child has come back and consumed the parent, you know. And also from a size point of view, Anglos was, for generations, one of the biggest, when I say one of the biggest, I don't know from an international point of view, one of the biggest mining houses around. Yeah. Mining finance, and that's when I come back to the definition. These were mining finance houses. They financed new operations. You know, that was the whole purpose of Anglos. You know, and they would raise finance and then float off these individual businesses.
I mean, should Anglo have done more to grow itself? In other words, what Billiton's done to acquire assets, or
yes,
because clearly it did a good job in acquiring the copper assets that Billiton now. Oh, that BHP now wants.
To answer that, have a look at Xstrata, which was Glencore. Remember, Mick Davis and Ivan Glazenberg. I don't know whether Ivan was present, but they went to see Mr. I think it was Moody Stewart, who was the chairman of Anglos, with the bushy eyebrows and everything, and he summoned them to his house, and they had to use a tradesman's entrance, you know, and were summarily dismissed after about 5 minutes, you know, who do you think you are? But have a look at Glencore today, and have a look at Anglos. So that's the answer. You know, other companies have been growing dramatically. Anglos has fallen by the wayside. And the families are gone. I don't know. You know, it's. So
does Billiton come back at a 700 offer, or
they will?
Rio Tinto come into the frame?
Oh yeah, no, Billiton. That's trading.
What you're saying, so this gets real fun.
Yes, you know, this is how it works. You know, your first bid is never the real bid. You know, so.
Incredibly, it's 3 decades since we became a democracy, so in human terms we've still got some party G's and some pretty good knees, but we're worried about our massive mortgage, our kids are squabbling brats, and we're still blaming our parents, read apartheid, for our self-induced problems. But there's always grandpa to turn to.
As you can see from this, I came to Jaulani Mall to distribute this leaflet, to ask the people of Soweto to vote for the ANC at the end of April, of May. As you can see, I think the response is very good. I have not been in Soweto for some time, but I know the response of the people. Have campaigned here before and will come here again, because I think it is important that we should indeed return the ANC to power. I know there are many problems in the country, even problems within the ANC. And so as we say vote ANC, we're also making a commitment to the people that we will attend to the problems within the ANC itself.
Although not for long if the stepchildren have their say.
It will be hard to build what was destroyed by ANC and invite them in building what they were capable of destroying. The good thing for you and for me, for our children and generations, the people who have destroyed our country into a brink of being a collapsed state should be removed from power.
I love that line. I have not been in Soweto for some time.
Yes.
That
Sums it up.
Sums it up, right? I mean, I don't know. It is a big day. 30 years, I mean, it's a huge thing. I remember voting back in 1994. I voted at UKZN, stood in the long lines, almost got arrested because I had a political T-shirt on. It was fun. It was lacquer.
30 years ago. There was a very good editorial this morning in Business Day. I think well constructed. But towards the end, I think the truth comes out about where we are and what we have to do. I think not failed, but failing. Not a failed state, but failing. And a lot has to be done Do we put it in the hands of the ANC? No ways.
Yeah.
No
There's a
ways.
great chart, and I don't know
No
who
way,
to credit it to, per capita GDP. Rising
Yeah.
from 94,
That's
flatlining
right.
from 2005,
Yeah.
and then dipping the last
Yeah.
couple of years.
And debt.
And
Debts.
everything.
In the first years of the ANC rule, I mean,
Yeah.
they did it. The first 10
Yeah.
years were fantastic,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And then the wheels, and then Jacob Zuma.
It was Polokwane, 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all came out. Yep.
And whatever the, I don't think I don't think the ANC has got the capability of turning it
Yeah.
around. We need something new. And from the economy point of view, it can't go on without the state institutions, without water, without railways, without all of these issues. And that's the background to the Anglo American story. That's
Yes.
why BHP.
Which
We
is
don't
why
want to be here.
We have Giulietta up.
We don't
here.
want to be here.
No one
You know
wants
what
to
I
do
mean?
business here. And why would you?
Go ask Froneman. Go, do you want to make your future here? No.
Well, keeping with local politics, the scripts write themselves. As Joburg City manager Floyd Brink narrowly missed arrest thanks to the sheriff's spelling, blink, as it turns out. But hang on, you ask, why is the city manager being arrested? For contempt of court? Tick. For shafting a local business and their water readings? Check. And then for having 13 unmarked cars in attendance? Well, not for that, but what, 13 cars? Is he the manager or a mafia don? Question marks all round.
It's both, I think.
No wonder Joburg is in the chaotic collapse it is.
Well, there's no accountability. Who's counting the cars and who's taking
And then
responsibility for
someone
that?
tried to arrest them, and even that couldn't work. I mean, yeah, if they come to arrest us, they're not going to get it wrong. Okay. And other incredible
Wow.
news, if you were in shaky ground with Bitcoin, then how about the Bitcoin halving? Take a listen to this.
On the inflation picture, specifically what they call the stock to flow ratio, or how much new Bitcoin there is per the total amount of supply that's in existence.
Yeah.
Right now, with the recent halving, that's gone down to 0.9%. And to give you an indication, that's now lower than gold. Gold is about 1.6%. So we're getting into what the people call a really hard asset, where the supply is becoming less and less. And as demand goes up, the only way for the economics to work out is if demand goes up and supply goes down, then the price has to go up.
I'm going to quote whoever
He lives above me, and but I haven't seen him for months. I think he's
been spending his Bitcoin.
Been mining his Bitcoin?
I don't know. I think he's in the US with his family. Lovely family, but he stays in the flat above me. But
Okay,
I don't
long
know.
Bitcoin. Long Bitcoin
Me?
or long
No,
gold?
I'm not.
I'm long both.
Oh.
Well, they're
I'm
going
long.
up.
I'm long neither. I don't understand either.
After the break, we'll
certainly
leave
not
it there.
Bitcoin, yeah.
A brisk week on the company's front. And do you like Pinotage or Malbec on your 42K sprint?